Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory be unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Makar Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Peace, salutations, and blessings be unto the hopeful elect, pushing his truth in sincerity throughout the four corners of the globe, in the sincere hopes of being delivered in these last days. All right, this is the brother Yakanan from the GMS England branch. As you can see here, I've just come across this post taken from X, the X platform, and as it reads, U.S. anti-Sem envoy warns of visa denials for World Cup attendees accused of hate. All right, now it says confirmed by the Senate in December 2025. Stated that individuals accused abroad of anti-Sem could face U.S. visa denials when attending the tournament co-hosted by the U.S., Canada, and Mexico from June 11th to July 19th, 2026. He highlighted existing screening practices, including social media reviews, expanded in 2025 to flag anti-Sem activity applied case by case without targeting specific teams. The remarks have fueled online debate, with some decrying it as a free speech threat, and others supporting it as protection against rising anti-Sem tied to national security. All right, so you get the gist. What they're looking to do is ban anyone trying to attend this tournament, this World Cup, according to your mind state and what you subscribe to, in society. So if you show signs, of being anti-Sem, if you've liked certain posts, you've reposted certain things, you've made certain comments online that, prove, according to them, that your mind state, is against, these small hats and the wickedness that they've been doing upon the earth, then you will be, punished, for that. Okay. But the funny thing is that, this is just the beginning, because this same system, this screening and, finding out, what you represent, that's going to be used on a level to judge what you can use and not use in society. Okay. Via way of the MOTB. All right. Because if you don't subscribe and bow down to this beast system and receive this mark within yourself, you are going to be X'd out of society. Okay. And that's the heights to where this thing is really going to go. All right. And that's why I say, this is just the beginning. All right. Being banned, from bread and circuses, that's just the beginning. Okay. Not being able to participate in, particular events and so on and so forth. That's just the beginning. But where it's really heading is banning people from utilizing the basic necessities that, the grid, and society offers. For example, being able to go to the supermarket, being able to work, being able to utilize, the so-called healthcare system, being able to send your children, to school. Okay, all of these basic things, that people participate in society, these are about to become subjective, to you having or not having the MOTB, whether you can indulge or not. Okay, that's where, this thing is really heading. And again, this is just the beginning. All right, this kind of draconian measure and harsh law is just the beginning as to where things are really going to go. Okay, now it says here, this was posted by this woman by the name of Kim Iverson, and it says, breaking, the United States government will ban World Cup attendees if they fit the profile of being anti-Sem after their social media is scanned. All right, so they're going to be scanning people's social media. All right, they're going to be performing screening, upon your social media, man, upon the things that you say, the things that you post, the things that you represent. Okay, so your social profile is going to be used to see whether you're fit to participate in this particular, bread and circus event. Okay. It says we live in a slave nation to Israel, and we are a conquered colony. All right. And they're gonna have to come down, in a real, draconian way, in order for people to succumb to this beast system. All right, because these small hats, all right, everyone sees the small hats for what they really are. Okay, they've been exposed in a major way, in these last days. Okay. And as the scriptures tell us in Jeremiah 49:10, the Lord said that he was going to make Esau bare and he would not be able to hide himself. All right. And that's happened. Okay. Esau, Edom has been exposed. The small hats have been exposed in these last days. All right. You got these E files, the EP files. Okay. All of their wickedness and all of the things that they get up to behind closed doors is basically, out there in the open for everyone to see. Okay, which has also been normalized in the process. Okay, but they've been exposed. So everyone knows what time it is concerning these devils. Everyone knows what time it is concerning, the small hats. Okay, so they're going to have to come down real hard and real heavy to have people bow down, to this beast system. And many people will bow down, all right, just for the main fact of you're going to become exiled of society, which is enough, okay? Because people don't want to be exiled of society. People don't want to have to, come to a point where you can't utilize the supermarket because you're not chipped. Come to a point where, you can't participate in the full system, send your children to school and so on and so forth. People don't want to do that, all right? Because they have no plan B. All right, they don't have a plan B. We have Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, which is our plan A. Okay, so we're not going to be relying on the beast system. The scriptures say, "My servant shall eat, but you shall go. You shall go hungry." All right, so the elect of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, we're going to be trusting in the Lord and His power to deliver, His power to save. Okay, so when we're severed, completely from society. Hey, we're going to be trusting in the Lord, just like we're trusting in the Lord right now. Okay, but this is where things are heading, all right? Things are heading to a place of real draconianism, all right? And these unrighteous laws and decrees, let's get that right quick in Isaiah chapter 10, all right? They're about to become manifest in these last days, all right? Now this is Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 1, and it says, "Woe to them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed." All right. And in the NLT, it says, "What sorrow awaits the unjust judges and those who issue unfair laws." Okay. So you're being judged, according, to your mind state, according to your beliefs. Okay. That's an unrighteous decree. And that shows you the hypocrisy, of the world that we live in. That is the hypocrisy of the world that we live in, man. All right. But they don't care. All right. Because they're pushing their agenda and they're getting ready to go all out on making you bow down, to the system and bow down to how they want you to think. Okay. Showing you that we don't have much time in this place. All right. Now let's get Revelation chapter 12 and verse 12. All right. Because Esau, Edom is going all out. All right. And it's going to get worse. All right. It's going to get much worse. We ain't seen nothing yet. This is Revelation chapter 12 and verse 12. It says, "Rejoice, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time." All right. So the wicked elites of Esau, Edom, the ones at the top, all right, they know what time it is, and they know that they have but a short time to fulfill, this beast system, okay, to get all of the, measures in place and the apparatus in place to enable this system, to thrive and exist. They know that there's but a short time, okay, but as it tells us in the book of Job, the Lord is going to disappoint the devices of the crafty. All right, that's exactly what Yahweh Shem Yahushai is going to do. So yes, to an extent, the Lord is going to allow them to have this system be in existence and to operate upon the earth for a short time. All right, but in the midst, of that enterprise, all right, when they're about to fill their belly, as it also says in the book of Job, the Lord is going to cast them down. All right, and that's prophecy. That is biblical prophecy. That's going to happen. Okay, and again, the elect of Yahweh Shem Yahushai are not going to get chipped, and they're going to be sustained by the Lord. Okay, and we don't have to worry about how that's going to be done. We don't have to worry about, the technicalities of what the Lord is going to do. Because what we do know from surveying the past, all right, and from reading about the accounts in the scriptures, that's why it's so important, as pursuant to Romans the 15th chapter, the things that are written aforetime were written for our learning. That's why you got to meditate upon these stories and go back and see what the great wonders that the Lord done. Okay, because we're going to be delivered by the way and sustained by the way of miraculous events that are going to be happening in our lives. Okay, when things get to that point, of nowhere to turn, and our back is against the wall, okay, which will happen. Hey, that's when the miracles are going to manifest. That's where the unexplainable and the unlogical is going to start to happen upon the earth for the elect of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Okay, it tells us in Isaiah the 59th chapter that the Lord is going to lift up a standard when the enemy shall come in like a flood. That's going to happen. All right, so when you read these things, understand that these things are actually going to manifest and happen for the elect in society, man. Okay, we don't, these things are not just written, here for no reason. They're written so we can go back and we can meditate upon these things and know that Yahweh Shem Yahushai is with us. Didn't the Lord say, lo, I am with you even unto the end of the world? The Lord is going to be helping his elect in these last days. Okay, Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai is going to be helping, sustaining, and empowering, his elect in these last days like he has been up until this point. So we have no reason to doubt concerning the power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, man. Okay, especially when things begin to heat up on a heavier level. All right. So I'm going to cut it off there. Lord willing, this video has been edifying. And until next time, I'll say shalom.